The atmosphere changed immediately. The room was gorgeous, and despite the apparent age of the ship, none the worse for the wear. How? The ship doesn't look particularly old. What do you mean? What's given you that impression so far? He looked around. Seven and Snake were nowhere to be seen. There were two doors on the right side of the room. He opened the one on his right and went through. Okay. On the other side of the door was a short hallway. He jogged down the hall and opened the door at the other end and peeked through. There they were. To his right, to his right, busy examining something. Ah. He stepped through the door and walked toward them. Just take a guess, you know. There's a chunk of metal going across it right now. Oh, you haven't even tried? Junpei stepped away from the door and looked around the room. Fucking astounding. Alright. This area is huge compared to the tutorial room. God damn, this is like fucking 6 rooms. Oh my god, okay. Back. Alright, bed. Fantastic. A bed with a canopy. I've seen things like this in movie and stuff, but never in real life. True, you don't see too many these days. I can't see the details, obviously. I imagine it's one of those princess beds Clover is so fond of. Clover wants one of these? Why wouldn't she? Yes. She wants a princess bed. Yeah, what? Yes. You don't? Didn't I say that? You think it doesn't suit her? Yeah, I guess you could say that. Wow. What a rude asshole. Ah, Junpei, judge her by her appearances, will you? And, well, you should not. Okay. Nothing on the back. Okay. It took Junpei by surprise. Wait, this is the medal screen. Snake, usually so calm and collected, suddenly began to move. He stared about the room almost frantically, clearly looking for something. No, Junpei thought, not staring. After all, he's blind. Blind or not, Snake was clearly attempting to do something. At last, Junpei could no longer contain his curiosity. Snake waited a moment before answering. Why? But, like, tell us, right? Like, you know. Okay. You did not just tell me you're Deadpool. Come on. You did not just tell me you echolocate items. Well, yeah. Well, yeah, typically that your eyes don't affect your legs. Oh, is that so? Is that so? Big man, huh? Junpei was somewhat taken aback by this revelation. He stared at Snake, skeptical. What gave it away? Was it the fact you went, huh, really? With a small, self-satisfied smile, Snake turned around and walked away from Junpei. Chest, a drawer, a white desk. Feels kind of fancy. Alright. Small round chair. Looks like it probably goes to the vanity. Great. Alright, more rooms, but we haven't finished examining here. Okay. What's this? Well, you know, this isn't a score. Yeah, but... What do you mean, what's this? Is this a map of the ship? A map? There's a map of the ship here? Yeah. Then I imagine it will prove very helpful. You'd best hold on to it, Junpei. Okay. It's now possible to use the map screen. Map screen. The map screen can only be viewed during the story sections. While on the map screen, you can examine a map of the ship's floor plan, which you will acquire over the course of the story. Clicking the green parts of the floor plan will allow you to see a bird's eye view of that room. Okay. A piano keyboard. What is Snake doing? He can't play, can he? This piano. There's something amiss with the keys. You mean it's out of tune or something? No, not that. It's properly tuned, just... Well, the sounds are clearly purposefully different. The C key doesn't yield a C, but rather a different note entirely. The same goes for the D keys. They play some other note. Huh, why do you think it's like that? Isn't it painfully obvious? Zero modified it in some way. This piano, you see, is part of one of the puzzles Zero has set for us. Perhaps if we play the keys in the correct order, something will happen. In other words, we need to play a song on the piano. I believe so. Now, I'm tone deaf, so you better not ask me to actually play something. A music stand. Might as well put this glass plate on it. Oh, Is something wrong? It's kind of hard to see the notes. Maybe if I put something under them? A background for the notes. Okay, the map. I thought the map might go there again, but apparently not. It's totally a table with a mirror. Ah, yes, you know, that sort of thing is known as a vanity. Were you aware of that, Junpei, you simpleton, you ignoramus? Of course, vanity also refers to self-love, conceit, and narcissism. As such, you could say that every day when a woman looks into one of these, she is staring at her own conceit and narcissism. Oh my god, Spike Chunsoft games are so fucking normal, dude. What a normal thing to say about women. That didn't give off mad incel vibes or anything. Doesn't that strike you as terribly sad? Shut up. Okay. Alright. Will you open it if I'm on this side? Snake's rubbing it. This is a high-quality desk. Teak, or perhaps mahogany. Wow, how can you tell? Oh, I have my ways. Refuses to elaborate. Huh. This safe is locked. It's one of those dial locks. It doesn't have a key, we just need to get the dials in the right place and it'll open. Did you find anything, Seven? No, nope. How about you, Snake? I also found nothing. Great. Aha. Tremendous. A leather suitcase. There's nothing inside. I can tell by the weight, and it makes no noise when shaken. Okay, I mean, you know, I would still look personally, but I guess. Alright, I see. This bathtub is full of water. Is there ash or something in this water? Looks kind of gray. Let's just pull the plug. No, hold on. Maybe we can, I don't know, use it for something. Use it for something. Yeah, you know. The water's dirty, but the rest of the tub looks comparatively clean. Almost like the dirty water was moved there from somewhere else intentionally. Okay. Well, the sink's clean. Any water? Nothing's coming out. We've got the faucet on all the way, but I can't hear anything. Alright. The lights, huh. Nope, doesn't look like there's anything hidden there. Alright, you never know. No, I didn't want to do that. Okay. Okay, that goes back in that room. Now, it's a heavy piece of paper that's been folded in half. It has score printed in the front on the front of it. Score. That's gotta mean musical score. If that's true, then the score we just found was probably in here, at least at some point. Okay. This is some sort of antique desk. Makes sense, though, I guess. This whole room's full of antiques. You could get a nice handful of cash for all the stuff in here. Lamp. Okay. Chair. Somebody spent a lot of time carving the legs of this chair. It'll snap like a twig if Seven sits on it, though. Mind your own business. That was really rude for, like, no fucking reason. Oh, hello. There's an iron grate in front of the fireplace. There's something hid behind it. Okay. A fireplace, huh? Don't see one of those too often. Aren't a lot of people these days with real fireplaces and real fires? Yeah. Okay, we need somebody to get that out, I assume. This isn't anything? Really? Okay. This couch looks big enough for 3 people. Looks perfect for me. What? Perfect for an elegant gentleman like myself. The couch looks a lot more elegant. Hey, there's something you aren't saying. No, never mind. What a prick. Vase? I get it. You're gonna use this vase, right? That's pretty clever, Junpei. We just gotta fill this thing with water. Oh, of course. And then we can throw it on the fire or something, you know. Where the fuck am I right now? Ah! I see. It's a toilet. Thank you. Doesn't seem to be anything in the toilet or the tank. Toilet paper, though. There's some toilet paper in the wall there. Nothing that looks suspicious. Okay. Ah, the bathroom again. Please fill up the tub with the vase. Alright. Shouldn't be too hard to fill the vase up. Great. And this is... Ah, I see. When you're coming the other way, the room flips around. This is the wrong room. Alright. Oops. Splish splash. I've got a vase filled with water. It's heavy. Can't just throw it at the grate, though. I gotta pour the water right onto the fire itself. Why? I don't understand why you need to do that. But, alright. These lamps. Nope, okay. Cover of the music score sitting on the table. Yeah, it says score. Uh-huh. Well, I'm kind of running out of things to interact with here. Ah, I see. I missed this room. Suitcase, the leather suitcase. Well, shoot. Looks like there's nothing in it. Alright. Just check the bottom one, just in case. Okay. Ah, tremendous. G. Well, we seem to be missing one in here a little bit, you know. This leg looks different? Okay. Well. You see. It's a window. There's an iron plate on it. So, you know. Okay. What if we combine some of these plates? No? Okay. What if we combine one with the water, though? Okay. As you see, I'm running out of things. I guess we haven't examined the lock yet. So this is the locking thing. It's flashing red. That's usually not a good sign. Is that a microphone? It looks like... Oh, fair enough. It looks like a satellite dish. Let me see. Well, judging by the feel of it, I would guess that we are meant to produce some sort of sound. And this device will sense it and unlock. Yes, this is likely the case. So... Can't open that. Even though he's supposed to have tremendous hearing, so he should be able to, like, listen to the tumblers, but you know. Turn off the lights? Okay. I'm really just like, you know. Right on, buddy. Do it. Do what? Oh, it's not too hard to figure out. You seriously? Throw that shit on there. Or take this out. Yeah, please do. Time to put this fire out? But this is what I did. Here we go. What the fuck? Okay. I thought we had to, like, get the grate off. You ended up throwing it on it in the end. Good job. Another success. That fire didn't stand a chance. I guess I clicked on the wrong fucking part of the fire. Because I clicked on that part? Alright. Instead of the coals. Fuck you. No, please pick it up. I'll pull this out now. Don't want to get burned, so let's pull down the sleeves. Fantastic. As Junpei tucked the plate into his pocket, Seven cried out and stumbled, his balance lost. He threw out a hand and caught the wall in time to steady himself and avoid the floor, but his face was flushed and he looked startled. Whoops. Seven rubbed a couple of fingers across his brow and then shook his head as if to clear it. Oh, you can't remember anything? Oh, that's why your story... That's why you were hesitant to tell a story. I see. Junpei couldn't hide the surprise in his voice. Seven, for his part, seemed unconcerned. Well, okay, never mind, because you were kind of cagey about telling us what happened when you, like, got out of the room, but if you remember that as well, never mind. Suspicion reinstated. I can't believe you. You're not serious. You didn't ask that, right? Like, that's a fucking Phoenix Wright question if ever I've seen one. Oh, you don't remember anything? Why? What caused that? What? Did you not see the fundamental issue with that question? Yeah, exactly. What a stupid thing to say. Fucking idiot. Junpei paused for a moment and stared at Seven. In fairness, he seems pretty laid back for the most part. You know, he was kind of high-strung when we first met him, but, like, fair enough. He seemed pretty chill since then. It's been a whole hour and a half, so I'm pretty much over it, you know. Pretty much don't even think about it anymore. That's, you know, that's perfectly valid, you know. Pretty based, honestly. You know. Seven gave Junpei a look the younger man wasn't sure how to interpret and turned to walk away. Well, just because he's, like, not, like, you know, crying or something doesn't mean he isn't bothered, you know. It's like, we do have something more pressing going on at the moment, you know. If he lost his memory in his living room, I'm sure he'd be more confused or more concerned about it. Somehow, though, Junpei didn't find his reassurances very reassuring. Alright, well, now we have the score play, so we probably slam that on the piano. A music stand. Might as well put the music I found on it. I'll put the ceramic plate on the bottom, and the glass plates on top. Wait a minute. What's wrong? Well, I put them all on top of each other, but they look odd. It doesn't really look like a song. Then in all likelihood, we haven't found them all. We need to find more glass plates. Well, the last one's pretty obviously in that safe, but how do we open the safe? Is the question. It says score. Yeah. Will you put, guess you put music sheets in it? Yeah, you know, but you don't want to do that, I guess. I guess we haven't examined it. Anything on the back? Okay. Search. It's a ceramic plate of some kind. Looks like a blank sheet of paper music. Yeah. Can we combine these? Okay. Well, so, you know. So, I'm sort of running out of things to interact with here. You're a Taurus, right? What weird question. What? Why? Well, you're so well organized. Most people wouldn't bother to touch something like that didn't seem to mean much. Dunk it in the water. This water's dirty. Can't see more than 4 inches or so. Can't see anything down there. Do you think... Think what? Oh, now we can unplug it? There's a plug on the end of the chain. Well, why don't we just drain this water? Yeah, good plan. Alright, where's that thing? A good tug ought to be enough to get it out. Huh? Ah, there we go. I see. Is that enough? Whoops. Music stand. Yeah. Ceramic, and then stack the glass plates on top. Alright, good. Sweet. Now I can play the music. Junpei, would you be so kind as to play the piano? I am unable to, you see. I'm sure I needn't tell you, but the keys on this piano are not what you might expect them to be. Well, that's okay, because I don't know anything about the piano. C won't be C, D won't be D, and so forth. You must listen carefully to determine which keys to strike. Oh, God. Yeah. Alright, let's give this a shot. This is gonna be terrible. Okay. Wait a... No, okay. Okay. Whoops. Okay. Boy, you know, this might take me a second. Alright, that I didn't like. So I'll be completely honest with you. That for me was basically a rote memorization thing, which I didn't do. I just looked up the order to push the keys in. Because I'm tone deaf as fuck, and I genuinely could not tell which key was which. And we're done. Music is not my forte. Wait, what was that noise? Junpei. Hold on. Remember to stay hydrated. Junpei. We did it. Looks like it worked. I heard something unlock over by the exit. Let's go. We haven't gotten into the safe yet, though. Good plan. Stand. Bow. Be seated. Well, I guess he hasn't forgotten that. At least Snake thinks it's funny. Ha 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 ha. Yes, I suppose that was the classroom bell, wasn't it? I don't imagine that's what Zero was thinking of, however. No, Zero almost certainly meant to suggest Westminster, not middle school. Westminster? The palace in London that plays host these days to the Houses of Parliament. You've heard of Big Ben, the famous clock tower, yes? Big Ben plays the very collection of notes on the hour. London? The capital of England, huh? Yep. At any rate, the door is now unlocked. Let's leave this place immediately. Nope, didn't want to do that. We, haven't gotten into the safe yet, though. Alright, let's go. Was the safe genuinely not important? That's crazy. Okay. He came out of the door and into a long, straight hallway. Indeed. He paused for a moment and turned around to look behind him. Seven was bent over, apparently doing something to the door. Junpei had spoke more or less to himself, but apparently Seven had heard anyway. The larger man stood and turned to Junpei. Okay. You never know. That is pretty good forward thinking, because you never know. Snake was a reasonable one. Seven thought about it for a moment before he answered. Alright. Without waiting for an answer, Seven started off down the hallway. Snake shrugged, sighed, and quietly followed Seven. That's a lie, Junpei thought to himself. There was a safe in there we didn't open. Junpei frowned, took one last look at the door, and then walked toward his companions. After some time in the hallway, they emerged into a larger, more open space. A large metal grate stood like the door of a jail, divided in half. I love how they always resort to trying to brute force it. Like, it's still made of metal. It's not getting any less metallic. They shook it for a while, but as they had expected, it did not move. Unfortunately, however, it was locked and refused to open. Junpei took a moment to examine the left side of the room. Oh, how nice. The door has its pronouns printed on it. In the center of the door was a small keyhole. Next to the keyhole, a small symbol had been carved into the metal. The door is female. That's how it identifies. He wasn't quite sure what to make of it. Snake, naturally, was somewhat more sure. Oh, of course, I knew that. So the door identifies as a goddess instead, or a celestial body. Both are fine. While they had been discussing the symbols, Junpei now realized Seven had slipped away. His absence now felt, Snake and Junpei turned to look for their missing companion. Seven had left them to head down the hallway, extending to the right of the stairs. Junpei grabbed Snake to lead him in the right direction, and they both headed off after Seven. Before long, the three of them stood in front of a door. It was a French door. It opens. Wow. Junpei tested the door and realized that unlike so many others they'd encountered, it was unlocked. Almost as though he was afraid it would suddenly lock itself, Junpei threw the door open. He stepped inside. What a weird intonation. It took only a moment for Junpei to take in his new surroundings. Before Junpei could comment further, a noise from behind them made them turn around. Seven was shaking the door they'd just come through. As Seven and Junpei watched, he threw his hands up in frustration, then kicked the door for good measure. There was no reason to panic, however. Whoops, sorry. Spurred to action by Seven's words, Junpei and Snake began to examine the room. Oh yeah, now we're getting into some gameplay. I was settling in for another, 2 hours of cutscenes, but we're just right back in it. Okay, so, this catches my eye. It's nothing, alright. Behind the bar. Oh, will you look at that? Someone left a bottle of booze here. Don't mind if I do. Glug, glug, glug. Ah, that hits the spot. Feels like my throat's burning. Damn, he really drank it. We don't even know how long it's been there. Or what's in it, for that matter. Junpei, I found this on the counter. It feels like a playing card. Okay, nothing on the back. 7 of spades. Cool. A playing card. 4 of clubs. It's a lot of expensive glasses. Even cheap drinks that taste great out of glasses like these. That sounds absurd, but it does make a difference. There's a whole lot of glasses on that shelf. Doesn't look like there's anything else back there, though. Oh, wait, could I interact with that from here? No. Okay. Is there something here? There is. Junpei, isn't that a card sitting on the table there? This feeling. It seems to be a playing card. But please just pick it up. 5 of spades. Okay. Check out that stained glass. How beautiful. What? Huh? Stained glass is colored pieces of glass placed together in a frame. Smooth segue. Are you not actually blind? That was a weird thing to say. As I've said many times before, I need only touch it to know. I can at least discern the basic structure. Okay. 3 of spades. So there's gonna be a digital root thing here, huh? Suddenly, 7 began to speak. Junpei shook his head. He'd barely even heard of the game. I've heard the name. I know 0 about it. It's the digital route. He hadn't asked for it, but 7's explanation, rushed through it had been, was helpful. Feeling more confident, if only slightly, Junpei approached the Baccarat table. Okay, so this is to get the 8 card. So right now we've got wait, I thought one of these was a club. I guess I'm stupid. I thought we had a clubs card. They're all spades. So we got 3, 4, 5, 7. Well, 4, 5 is 9, but that's not good. 3, 4 is 7. We need an ace or a 2, because presumably we need to get 9, right? Is my assumption. So firewood in the fireplace. Okay. It's a weird-looking floating thing. Weird-looking thing floating in there. Turn the lights on. Wait, when those 2 lights turned on, I heard something from the bottom of the fireplace. What was that? I heard something down there. Yeah, but pick up this card first. 6. So now we this still doesn't really help. Oh, hello. Coin bag. Search. It's a whole bunch of coins stuffed in this velour bag. Look at all these coins. Perhaps these coins will allow us to convince the machines to move. Okay. It says 1 on the plate. 2, 3, Alright, let's put a coin in the bag in here. What happened? I heard an odd noise. Well, to be honest, I don't know. I pressed some of the buttons and smacked the machine once or twice, but nothing happened. Oh. Looks like the coin got stuck. Oh, dear. Okay. Other one? Oh, whoops. Let's put the coin in here. Come on, you little bastards. I only need one of you. Okay. What do I click here? Oh, spin. It's hidden behind me. Whoops. Hold on. What was... No. Don't patronize me. What was the thing on the wall? Diamond hearts. Club diamond hearts, but you know. Alright. So we want... Nope. Am I really meant to do this, or am I meant to do something else first? Alright, this is driving me crazy. Is there something else I'm meant to be doing here first? What about this one? Perhaps you should be more careful in the future. You got the coin stuck in the machine on the left. Please don't make the mistake again. That would be bad. I know that. I'll be fine. Jerk, I'll put this coin in this slot. That'll show him. That's weird. Do you intend to lock us in here? It's not my fault. The coin just got stuck all on its own. Oh boy. Alright, what's this? Hey Junpei, you really think you got all the cards we need for this one? I guess there's no harm in trying it anyway. We probably don't, but let's take this ace. And attached very well, it seems. If you don't mind, what sort of card is this? It's a playing card. The ace of spades, in fact. Okay. This is not going to open. Yeah. Yeah. It's locked, blah, 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 blah. So I guess I am just meant to gamble on this? Alright, well, I managed to get all of them to show up, and that didn't work. So I'm at a bit of a, you know... I might be about to be really embarrassed. I was hard focusing it on it being... I spent like 15 minutes doing this. I was hard focusing on the reels without even thinking about it. Of course. The buttons also have the symbols on. 777. Yes, 777. And I think I heard something unlocking in there. Impressive, Junpei. It would appear to be unlocked now. There is something akin to a drawer in the bottom part of the machine, yes. That is a pickup drawer for the dividend. Probably the lock for the drawer got unlocked. Please open it if you would. Wonderful. What is it? Is there something in there? Yeah, a playing card. And this. A key with the Venus symbol on it. Well, excellent, Junpei. Now we'll be able to open the gate. And we just need to figure out how to get out of this room. Correct. Come on, Junpei, hurry up. And he's off. Playing card and a Venus key. Better put the key in my pocket for later. As for the card... Alright, so I think we can do Baccarat now. Please engage. So... What else are we supposed to do? Stop worrying about it. It's real simple. What's the opponent's hand? Well, there's an 8 in the glass case. Alright, then that's your opponent's number. If that's the case, with what 3 cards do we need to get that number? 3 cards? There are a couple of indentations with white lines around them, right? This means we gotta put down 3 cards. So, place 3 cards and defeat the opponent's 8. That's what I gotta do, I guess. Yeah, I think so. Something tells me these aren't the only rules. Alright, let's give it a shot. Well, it's gotta be digital root, right? If there's more rules. Just gotta pick a card and play it. I figure if I put them in the right spot, something ought to happen. Alright, let's give this a try. Alright, so we want 9. We almost certainly have to do the digital route. So, what can we do to get there? We get to 18. That would be the easiest. So, 7, 6, 13, plus 5 is 18, right? Am I right? I'm a genius. Alright, if I just put down these 3 cards. Yes, open for me. Great. You did it, Junpei. You think it's telling us to take the 8 card? Come on, let's grab it. Yeah, let's take this card. Great. Please, wait. Do we not need those cards? Okay. Fair enough. So now, this is the only thing left. Looks like we need to put a playing card in here. Alright, let's give it a shot. Just 1. Fair enough. Ah. And you go. Alright, it opened up. It seems we have another device to contend with, yes. There are 3 slots in this one. Okay, let's see. 3 slots for cards, and there's 9 right below them. So that probably means we gotta make 9 with the 3 cards we put in the slots, right? Just like what we did over at the Baccarat table. Alright, let's give it a shot. Well, we only have 3 cards. Alright, so I put all the cards we had left in the slots. What happens now? Is that it? Yes, I did hear something from the exit. Excellent work, Junpei. Wonderful. It seems the exit is unlocked. Let's go. Alright. Alright, let's go. I'm a genius. I'm a gambling wizard. I can't believe it took me so long to figure out that fucking slot machine puzzle. I'm so fucking embarrassed. Junpei and his companions ran out of the casino and into a large open room. A room, in fact, they had been in once before. There was little to surprise them there. They already knew what their next step had to be. The iron gate still stood in place, locked tight, blocking the stairway, and right in the center of it... Wasting no time, he pulled it out and shoved it into the keyhole. He turned it. With the distinctive sound of metal on metal, he felt the lock click open. Junpei grabbed the handle on the left and Seven took the handle on the right. On Junpei's signal, they both pushed and the gate creaked open. This fucking guy. At Seven's words, they leapt onto the stairs and jogged quickly down them. In no time at all, they found themselves on C deck. When he reached the water, he called back up to Snake and Seven. The surface of the water below them was flat, like a mirror. They began searching around and taking stock of what was on C deck. Guys, come on. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Seven tousled Junpei's hair in what he likely thought to be a friendly manner. Junpei feared his neck might break, even though it was clear Seven had kept his strength in check. Thankfully, Snake interrupted. After Junpei's observation, he'd gone over to examine the card reader.
This is a Mercury symbol. The marks you mistook for horns are a stylized version of the wings and staff of Hermes. Wings and staff. So then, she beats you with the staff until you die and go to heaven.
Spike Chunsoft are so fucking normal, dude.
Sounds like Lotus, alright.
Oh, God forbid that the woman doesn't immediately warm up to these 8 strangers after being kidnapped, you know? Jesus fucking Christ. Seven shook Junpei's head even more vigorously, and the younger man began to feel as though his brain was being jostled about inside his skull. Junpei's stomach began churning uncomfortably.
Unless we can activate this device, I doubt the elevator will function. In other words, we gotta find a key code for the Mercury symbol. So I would assume. Let's forget the elevator. How about that hallway? Whoa, there's a bunch of doors.
There were a great many doors lining both sides of the hallway that seemed to stretch on forever, and all 3 men suddenly felt very small.
Shit. Probably don't have time to check them. Maybe we can come back here later. We should check out the other side. Let's head back.
To the right of the stairs, another hallway stretched out, reaching deep into the bowels of the ship. After a few moments of moving briskly down the hallway, they emerged in an area roughly the same size and shape of the one at the top of the stairs. On the left side of the room were 4 French doors.
There are doors here too. Well, I guess it's just 4 this time. Let's open them up, starting with the closest one there. Okay, I'm on it.
Junpei nodded and grabbed the one closest to him. He gave it a small tug and felt it move.
It isn't locked. I'm going to open it.
Thrilled to have found another unlocked door, he threw it open. Junpei didn't know what to make of what he saw. So this is where we're meant to reconvene, because we've got a few doors here, with numbers. He simply stood, unable to speak. Seven's eyes opened wide and his mouth gaped. After a few long moments, Seven at last managed to speak.
What is this place? So huge.
A massive room stretched out in front of them, more a cavern than a room. Its vastness was oppressive, and it bore down on Seven and Junpei. It was not empty, however. The entire room was filled with lines upon lines of beds. They were simple things, a little more than pipe and thin mattresses.
There are beds everywhere. Is this a hospital? The harsh scent in the air is reminiscent of an antiseptic solution. I think so. There are shelves in the center of the room, medicine and surgical tools. Hey, look there. The 4 doors at the end.
3 of them were emblazoned with large single-digit numbers made with thick red paint.
The left door says 3. The second door is blank, but the third has a 7. And the rightmost door is 8. There's no doubt there are no other doors. Hey, why is that door between 3 and 7 blank? Does that mean anything? No point worrying about it right now. Let's see if these will open first.
They're obviously not going to. Why are we even entertaining this? We're just wasting time.
Yeah, good idea.
The 3 of them threaded their way through the beds towards the back of the room. Upon reaching them, they proceeded to investigate each door in turn, but to no avail. Damn, that's crazy, dude.
Locked, just like I thought. Naturally, after all, there are rules to the door. And to allow these doors to open
Suddenly, Seven spoke up, interrupting Snake.
Nothing on it. Don't you remember the red back at the main staircase? There wasn't anyone in it until Bacon screamed.
It's probably because we're not all here yet, right? They probably need to all be in the same room before they activate.
Yeah, you're right.
This.
There's nothing. One way to find out.
Junpei and the others put their hands on the panel, but nothing happened. The red refused to change. They tried pulling the lever, and still nothing. As they soon discovered, it wasn't only the red on the door 8 that seemed to be malfunctioning.
How about the red on door 7? And door 3? Then you think all of them will be malfunctional. What does it mean?
Got it.
No, we're just not all here yet.
I didn't think Zero was the kind of guy who'd screw around with something like this.
Whoa. Zero's been prepared for everything so far, and you're saying he's gonna make a mistake now?
Alright, Mr. White Knight. Jesus Christ. Remember to stay hydrated. While Junpei and Seven talked, Snake busied himself with examining the red. After a time, he lowered his hands and spoke.
It seems as if some of the internal hardware has been removed. Internal hardware? That is what I say. Take a look at the underside of this ring.
So maybe not. Maybe we need to find something to slot in.
The bottom.
Junpei obliged and bent over to look at the underside of the device.
There's a thin slot here. It's a slot. Probably electronic.
What you read to the same. Something that removed from all three of them.
So the Reds aren't working because somebody pulled out their guts. So I assume. But why? And who? I mean, it really doesn't make sense. I have no idea. But I know something like that.
Just then, they heard the sound of a door opening.
Oh, what now?
3 of them turned and saw Akane. Oh no, Junpei thought. It's...
Jude!
She stopped short, surprised to see them, and was very nearly bowled over by the rest of her companions, who were coming through the door behind her.
Ace! Santa! Clover! And Lotus!
They all survived. Let's go. I was expecting someone to turn up dead.
It's here.
Junpei and Seven were, for the moment, at a loss for words.
What are you guys doing?
Why are we here?
It's smiling.
Perhaps we should exchange information.
After a moment of silence and surprise, everyone suddenly began to talk, desperate to exchange information. They talked about the rooms they'd been through and how they'd ended up in the same place. Of course, none of it was very useful information, but that hardly mattered. They were happy to simply see one another again. Although the levels of cheer varied greatly from person to person, each one of them was wearing some manner of smile. Almost as though they had already forgotten about the death of the 9th man. Well, that guy was kind of an asshole, so, you know, I wouldn't be too heartbroken. No, thought Junpei, perhaps that wasn't it. Perhaps thoughts of his death were what drove them to smile at one another. Not in a morbid or hateful way. The 9th man had died, but they were still alive, and that was something to be happy about. A sort of simple, uncomplicated joy, Junpei thought. The joy of being alive. Still alive. He felt sorry for the 9th man, but more than anything, Junpei was happy to be alive.
That's what we know.
With that, Junpei finished his own explanation.
Well, this isn't good. If the red is inactive, we can't keep going.
What about that big hallway? Maybe there's somewhere in there we might be able to go.
No, there's nothing there. The 5 of us had a quick look. There are plenty more hospital rooms. Nothing else. Maybe are those doors from hospital rooms? Yes. There are a number of individual rooms in addition to this large room.
There was a door at the end of the hallway, but it was locked.
It had one of those solar system mark things on it.
It was the Jupiter symbol.
Jupiter.
Wonder what it means.
Confusion seemed to be the consensus.
Asking what things mean. What's the deal with this room? I mean, I thought this was a
Not one, not even Snake appeared ready to offer an answer until Snake unexpectedly spoke up. Seven unexpectedly spoke up. I can't read.
Well, I think it was probably a hospital ship. Chances are it was gigantic.
Okay, very specific.
Gigantic.
Junpei looked at Seven, both shocked by his knowledge and the apparent identity of their prison. He was not the only one.
What is this gigantic?
Seven nodded to Lotus and began to speak.
Gigantic. She was a sister ship to the Titanic in the 20th century. Actually, the Titanic had two sister ships. Exactly the same. The Gigantic was sent to war. They intended to make her a passenger. Titanic wanted to support the ship crashed. The British Navy took her over and made her a hospital ship. At some point during the war, the Gigantic was damaged by a German mine in the Aegean Sea. She went around with it, so she could herself. What happened to her after that? One given or to a game. Sailors were confused by the Titanic sinking. The trauma turned him into some kind of obsessive collector of all things related to the Titanic. So enough, the guy wanted the Titanic itself, which was impossible. Most stuck in the situation. Gigantic was the situation. Gigantic.
So you're saying this war ordained on this ship? That's impossible. Sure, it's some old something 100 years old.
Calm down.
It
Pay attention.
it is a bit of a leap, isn't it? You know, like I guess we're on like an antiquated ship, so it's a hospital ship, so I guess it's not coming out of nowhere, but like it's not what my first guess would have been.
What, that's it? Have you gotten proof? Proof that the ship was really gigantic.
This ship's been discovered as the Titanic, hospital ship.
Don't tell me that's your own.
I've got more.
Seven looked around desperately, doing anything to avoid meeting Lotus's piercing gaze. He scratched his head for a moment, then gave up. Finally, he opened his mouth. Lotus sighed and shook her head.
So never is back.
Then is almost a... How do you know about that? I guess he could have just told you earlier, but we didn't know, nor did Snake, so the fact you know is coming a bit out of nowhere. A bell began to ring from far away.
Sounds like a clock in the main stairway.
Junpei counted each chime carefully.
It's midnight. And we've still got 6 hours left, right?
Let's get going. That might be some larger breaks.
What do you mean, Bob? How could I predict the president?
Temporary mission.
They had been examining the room as they talked.
Right.
There's one place to look.
What?
Well, not just one.
Wait. Don't tell me that we need to search all the other rooms.
Or check some of them before we came in. We each checked the single room, so 5 rooms in total. Alright then, it's 5 rooms we can switch. We just have to split up the rest between the 8 of us. Each of us can do 6 rooms apiece. We'll have the other 48 rooms cleared in no time.
You counted? Damn.
There are 48 other rooms.
Lotus did not seem excited by the prospect. Seven fidgeted nervously before responding. After some discussion, the 8 of them decided which rooms to begin with and in what order they would go. Junpei was chosen to search the rooms on the starboard side, moving from fore to aft.
Alright, so everyone knows which area they're searching?
Yes.
They also determined when they would return to report their findings, the next time the clock sounded. When it did, they would meet back in the large central room full of beds. If, during their search, any one of them were able to locate the missing components, they were to yell for the others. If this strategy failed, they'd return to discuss their options later.
Then we'll just have to come up with a plan. Then let's do this.
The details decided, they left to begin searching. Out into the hallway they went, each to the rooms they'd been assigned. However, from far away, Junpei heard the bell ring. It only did so once. It was 1 a.m.
I better get back to the others.
He jogged through the entrance of the large hospital room to find the 6 others already there.